Hi, welcome to Hofer. Today I want to talk about spatial positioning and depth in your mix. But what exactly is that anyway? And what does it mean to place sounds in the space of a mix? Why can we actually perceive this in a recording or a mix? And how is a cave beer connected to any of that? Listening to music often involves loudspeakers or headphones. Either way, what we hear is actually not real. When playing back through a stereo setup of speakers, for example, we perceive a voice or an instrument which is penned to the center between the speakers, even though there is no speaker. And when using headphones, we hear signals between our ears. At least that's how we perceive it. In reality, our hearing is a chain of several steps: sound reception, transmission, conversion into electrical nerve impulses, and final signal processing in the brain. There, for example, reflexes are triggered or incoming information is processed. The human brain can rely on a fairly long history of such processing. For example, it learned long ago to gauge distance based on auditory impressions. This was vital for our ancestors, for example to recognize how far away the angry bear was in the dark cave. This legacy helps us today to realize that the lead vocals are at the front and the backings are a little further back in the mix, and that there is a noticeable space behind the instrumental. Now I'd like to show you how to create such a depth in your mixes and explain the 4 essential rules you need to follow. Let me just say one thing in advance. A healthy dose of reverb for everything is no solution for a well-defined depth. Nevertheless, the first of our 4 most important rules for better depth is: more reverb means farther away. The closer a sound event is when you hear it, the higher the amount of direct and the lower the amount of diffuse sound, that is, the reverb. You know this from your everyday life, for example, when you meet people in the stairwell or a hallway with a lot of reverberation.
Hallo bei Hofer. Hallo bei Hofer. Hallo bei Hofer.
In a mix, we make use of this knowledge and work with reverb effects. Distant sounds are quieter. We are also familiar with the fact that we perceive sounds as getting quieter the more they move away from us. We can easily simulate this in the DAW with 2 tracks. When we make one track louder, it seems to move in front of the other track, and vice versa. The quieter signal moves backwards, the other seemingly forward. By combining the effects of loudness and reverb, we can push a signal further back by simultaneously making the direct signal quieter and the reverb louder. More distant sounds are muffled. This rule also helped our ancestors to assess distances based on the sound. The further away the bear is, the duller the noises become when they reach us. Estimating the distance actually works better the more precisely we know the original sound. If you have heard the bear, or an instrument or a voice, very close, you can judge the distance more accurately by hearing. And now for the last rule. The further away, the narrower the stereo image. Imagine you are standing with your eyes closed in a large room. A speaker is standing 1 meter in front of you and, while speaking, moves 1 meter to the left. you can perceive this clearly and precisely, you will judge it as being approximately halfway to the left. In a second scenario, the speaker is standing at a distance of 20 meters. If he or she now takes a step to the side, your perception is much less precise. The deviation from the stereo center is only minimal. Let's listen to that one too, this time with a counterexample. With the following settings for volume, EQ and reverb, the singer stands behind the guitar. By panning her hard left, she seems to be standing beside the guitar, while the sound settings and the reverb make her sound like she is standing further back. In this case, the mix and our neural processing of the information don't go together. It feels unnatural and somehow pretty weird. These were the 4 most important rules for realistic depth. If you follow these rules and leveling, EQing, panning and reverb go together in your mix, you can effectively and realistically place the various elements in the virtual space. If you enjoyed this video, we thank you for a like and your comment. With the HOFA online courses, you can learn everything about audio engineering and music production. Just have a look at hofa-college.com. See you in the next video. Goodbye.